All right, game of the day 29. We're back on Cornetto. So there's been a lot of weird builds I've been playing recently, like supremely off meta builds. Cornetto is probably my favorite to play. I really like this. It's very reactionary. It's very much, okay, is the person I'm fighting about to give themselves stab? You know, one of my favorite things to do in the game at the moment is fight warriors on this build. Just because of how you can fear chain them in rampages, forcing them out. You catching full counters with Corrupt Boon. I talked about previously, I think, when we were on Scourge. But it's honestly so fun. It's a really, really, really cool playstyle. But the build, and the build's very good in certain scenarios. It's excellent against DH. It's excellent against Warriors, I mentioned. Hollow. Even Boom Beast, it can do very well. Because you just get so much Corrupt. Basically, the idea is we're on Spite, Soul Reaping, and Curses. So when you go into Shroud, you just get a ton of rip. And I've played with a lot of different variants, but the thing is, as great as the build can be in certain matchups, and as fun as the build is, it's a type of build of which there are many in Guild Wars 2, which is that it's great, but it's not specialized enough to really fulfill anything great in Conquest. So what do I mean by that? I mean, it's pretty good in certain matchups on sides, but it's a slow, clunky-ass Necromancer that if it gets plussed, it's done for. So it's not actually a good side noder, really, because it doesn't have the bail potential. Even running both Spectral Walk and Worm, which I'd have to say I've become quite the master of utilizing both of these for various escapes. I even did a reverse Flesh Stomp the other day, where I used the Worm to get in out of the Spectral Walk. Anyway, it's not good enough on all of its matchups. Like Core Guard can be a real struggle, for example, and it doesn't have the escape potential, so it's not actually that good on sides. And then it can do good damage in team fights if you get the elite in the right place. But outside of that, it's not very good at mid, really. The pressure is way, 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 way too low. So you've got an extra problem as well, similar to when I was playing some DPSC Firebrand things, of expectations among the community. You know, Firebrands will hate you because you're just doing no damage in team fights, or you'll realize you have a good matchup, so you seek to go towards close at some point, or you even seek to go far, and people like truly crap themselves. I played this for about a day straight. I pushed far on a couple of occasions, won nearly every single matchup except one where I'd ended up against Mirage and didn't expect to, and the mid was bad. And, you know, you make those slight mistakes, and it's one of these builds that you'll get a reputation on, so just be very clear about that. So, in the end, I kind of don't like it, even though, I mean, I really have played a ton of this, but we'll see how we go. And, yeah, coming out onto this game, you'll see we've got a little bit of that awkwardness. We can send our Hollow or Mirage to close. It looks like we get the Mirage going there. But it's going to be a weird mid-fight where I don't really know what the... I mean, the other thing with Firebrands and playing ranked queues like this is 99% of them aren't very good. So, yeah, you get a bit of a problem. Anyway, he uses Empower, and we get some stealth over here. I can't really blast in that. I'm not going to use the Worm or anything. Come up towards mid. So, I don't really remember how well I play on this game, by the way. I'm already making a mistake, though, in that I don't have a Flesh Worm established. The mid's openings are really important, especially when you get to a high level, because all it's going to be is bursty power everywhere, which hits you so hard, especially when you have no life force. You're a goner. If you don't have these utilities prepped and ready, you're dead. You just get pain trained down, and your team will very rarely actually like line back for you and watch for you. So basically, I'm lucky this team fight right now. This is not a good team fight for the enemy team because none of them are on me. So that's pretty good. All right, so we're taking some pressure on the enemy Firebrand. All right, now the Mirage is on me. So I'm utilizing a pretty basic technique here, which is establish Spectral Walk, walk away. This is a really good use of Spectral Walk since the buff. So, by the way, I've been very mean to this build. I love this build. It was actually buffed significantly with the patch. One of the buffs was Spectral Walk is now eating conditions and giving me life force as it does so. So I can kite away from this Condi guy, cleansing as I go, drag him the max distance, and I think we just saw an illusory ambush there, I'm not sure. But something tipped me off, and I just port back. And now what I've done is I've eliminated a player. You could often eliminate two. I don't get too much consume conditions value there. But like if you see this Firebrand, I'm not trying to be mean to the specific player or whatever, is a perfect example of a bad Firebrand. All he's doing is standing on the node and like throwing in power across to help people. He should be like attached to someone, preferably me. Though I'm a Cornetto, so I get it if he's not. But he should be, like, up someone's ass right now, keeping the boons up, giving people stab, helping with something. Instead, he's just standing on the... I mean, look at this. Anyway, it's not that... I don't know. It depends on what your classification of bad gameplay is, because that's totally standard gameplay. It's just not good. The standard is not good. What was it? There was something occurred to me the other day, and it sounds like a sick joke, but this is actually the truth behind Guild Wars 2. Like, people call each other bad all the time in chat, and the thing with Guild Wars 2 is, at the moment, the PvP level is so low that people are so bad they don't even know what bad looks like. That sounds like a joke, doesn't it? Being so bad that you don't know what bad looks like, but that actually sums up 85 to 90% of the players you'll find in this game. I mean, anyway, can you tell I've played quite a lot recently? So, Reaper also, this is an amazing matchup against. Reaper's so fun to fight against. So fun. It's unbelievably fun. This has been a bit awkward of a Reaper fight because I got caught without seeing him. This is a build, to an extent all Necro builds are like this, you need to be extremely aware of what's going on. Anyway, that Reaper kind of committed suicide. So here I'm, gaining life force by cleaving through both bodies with the auto attack. Because I really need some. I've used a lot of it. I also get life force from both deaths. Here I want to rotate to deal with close, but the fight over there is Mirage, which is not a particularly good fight for me. So I wouldn't push a Mirage. And now I see that this guy's zerging off. The only reason this guy's moving is likely because he's bored and he doesn't know what to do, and he sees people are there. But my team's won that. We've just sent 3 people there. That we're never going to lose that. I don't even have to look at the node or the minimap to know that. So I'm pinging this guy and telling him in chat to stay, because these two are about to respawn. Like, that's a big thing. Remember, guys, comprehension of the fact that people come back. So they're going to respawn. So what I want is the Firebrand to push up to about here, not too much further, and then we'll sort some stuff out. Again, I'm making a mistake right now. I should have a Flesh Worm established. I don't know why I don't. There I'm turning back to see if the Firebrand's coming, but he's just standing on the node. So, like, the Firebrand here is a mistake because, like, you don't get extra vitality on the node, people. There's no reason to be that. Take the free pressure. Hit them. Because they've got 2 jobs to do. 1 is decap, 2 is fight. We can... why fight them where there's a risk of a decap? I don't know how many different ways I can espouse this philosophy. I guess the fact of the matter is here that these people aren't watching the videos, or they don't care. Here I make another mistake. Usually I go like 2 marks and then wait for the dodge and then always fear afterwards. I just go for all 3 at once there. The thing with the Reaper as well is you want to keep them at a certain range. You notice I got a bit of Torment out here. Where'd that Torment come from, actually? Because I never landed the Fear. I feared this guy. Anyway, I'm actually running the Torment on Fear trait, which is not very good. But the other trait that it's juxtaposed with is transfer condies when you enter Shroud. And that sounds amazing. I just mentioned how much I struggle against Mirage and stuff. It sounds very good, doesn't it? But it's actually extremely unreliable, especially against Mirages. It's the same thing as Revs have with Pulsating Pestilence, where if you do get the transfer, it's often onto a dud, i.e. a clone. And you guys might not know this, but if your first attack is evaded or blinded or anything like that in any way, you lose the value of the trait anyway. So you don't actually proc it that much. You really don't. So you can take one of the other 2. You can take either Chill when you blind, which is nice because you can Corrupt Fury for blind and chill and vuln, potentially. You can get like a triple, which is really good for your Scepter 3. Or you can run the Torment, and I was just trying the Torment out there. Anyway, so yeah, we're keeping the range. There, again, the other really fun thing about this build, he just healed, and I never interrupted it. It's such... honestly, if you... I wish I could recommend it. I really do. I can't. I have to hold my tongue. It's so fun to, like, especially fighting Reapers and stuff, because you know when they leave Shroud, they'll be looking for their heal, and you've got, no matter what weapon set or kit you're on, you've got an on-demand interrupt. It's so fun. So anyway, we dodged the 5, and again, this is just such bad fire branding. It's so bad. And he's probably sitting there thinking I'm bad by, pushing the line there. It's ridiculous. So anyway, we stay on the Reaper. We see he gets stabbed and we corrupt. He's supported there, so he got that from his friend. So here he's just shrouded and pressed the 3 instantly. So we corrupt Boon. So we fear him. And this is a Terror build, by the way. I mentioned that on the other video. If you run it right, Terror can hit for about 1,400 a tick, which isn't bad, honestly. It's really not bad. So yeah, they pressure through. The Firebrand's doing good now. A perfect play from the Firebrand now. So now I pull back a bit. This guy's being aggressive behind us. I didn't really get great damage there. I put Plague Land because I got a hollow, so I put Plague Lands on the node. And what I would want to do there is stand in the node. Looks like I Spectral walked away and tried to dupe around them there. That puts me away from my Firebrand as well, which isn't too good. Hollow is still on me. He just ate another tick of my elite. So now I'm pulling out of mids. Might not be a good play. I could have stayed with the Firebrand, but again, this build doesn't actually have that good pressure. And you might have seen it a bit here, especially in team fights. It's not that good. Against the support, like, I'm a dud. Really, I want a 1v1, and I can 1v1 a hollow extremely well, especially a hollow that just ate a tick of my elite. So, yeah, he's coming towards me. I take the 2, and I'm going to corrupt there, but he elixir S's. So I stowcast this. You saw I was casting. I press cancel cast. I have my worm nearby. So I don't want to stand next to my worm. Then you get no value out of your worm. That was something that it took me a few games to get used to, really. But so I've established my worm there. I really want to move away from it a bit. Anyway, we've been corrupting this guy very well. He's got 9 bleeds, but here's the problem. The master plan here was to kite towards the node and, you know, like, ward this off and keep it for our team. But obviously I'm under their respawns and not even watching. So I'm now outnumbered, which isn't good. So I go into Shrouds, either to protect myself here or because we see this guy gave himself stab. Hollows are really good to fight just because they boon themselves so heavily. So we fear, and they're long fears as well, by the way, guys. So he's running into the wall. He stun breaks. I take a dodge back. One of the things you do on this build a lot as well is you dip in a shroud and out again because so much of your value is just going in for the corrupt. What you often want to do is just get the 5 and then leave. You'll see here I'm even on Doomfire, which also looks like a gross pick. Like, why wouldn't you take stability and a stun break? But it's often a thing where it's a bit like Mirage with the Grandmaster trait that gave them stun break on dodge roll. You didn't really need it because you were evading anyway. And quite often, just having the damage spun, you use this so aggressively as well, okay? That the times where it lines up that this is available while you have a CC up, and also it will suit, just trust me, it's not as relevant as you think it is, and it improves your matchup against other people who are corrupting stab, because you won't get corrupted. So it just, usually you have to play very flighty because there's barely any damage in Shroud. But if you pick up Doomfire, you get a little bit more pressure, which can open up a few opportunities for some kills. I'm explaining a ton of stuff right now that will only be relevant to 1 or 2 human beings who ever play, you know, 100 to 200 games of this build and also get that feeling, but hey, whatever. Anyway, so this guy's stealthed and we'd corrupted him and killed him, so that's good. We put a mark over the body, the 3, so that there'll be the guaranteed poison first, then the 5. Then the Reaper goes for the res, and we fear with the Mark 5, but we're a little bit late and he's got blood, so it's a very quick res there. We go into Shroud. That was a bit quick, to be honest, because he got invulns for all of it, and he's not going to have any boons. But the latter part of Shroud, the Curses Shroud Grandmaster, Weakening Shroud, ticks later, so we do get him with that. So that's just weakened and extra bled him at least. Keeping the Reaper away here in this outnumber. He goes for Photon Shockwave, so I take a dodge. Now he's just in my... And here, this is a good example. We actually get to keep pressuring and put more cover condis out because of Doomfire here. Also, I think I'm on a Carrion Amulet, or I ended up on a Carrion Amulet a lot. And this has such a high chance to crit when you get a Condi range and stuff out, that you actually get some good flat damage on it as well, 2 to 3k each pulse. So anyway, here we're just tanking the damage. The Reaper comes back. I open the Spectral Walk because we need to kite away. Oh, you never saw me use the Worm earlier, by the way, but it was pretty important. The Hollow's still trying to flee. I bait the Shroud 2, so I know that the Reaper's got less mobility now. So I immediately Spectral Walk back over. The Hollow elixir S's on the node. Now, what he could be doing is going ham right now. And with the Reaper as well, you know, I'm just an inch away from death. So I have to pull back, and I establish my Worm back. The Reaper bails, which is a huge mistake. So now I can fight the Hollow. And you see this? You see, this is like a dream. Honestly, I'm salivating looking at this. It's too good. So I take the Corrupt Boon for 1 Corrupt. We go into Shroud for another 3 Corrupt. I also have a Nolman and... I can't remember what the other sigil is right now. But anyway, we can corrupt like 6 boons. If they're below 50% health, like 8 at once. Like, you can rip everything. So anyway, here's a perfect example of Shroud. You Shroud to corrupt, try and get the 5 out, and then you instantly leave again. Especially since he's Elixir S, I'm going to instantly leave. So out this, we try and drop a mark. I'm too early with it. I'm not very good with the timing on that, to be honest. We corrupt again with the 3. We flesh worm back as soon as he goes Photon Forge, and he's dead. He can't do anything there. It might not look like I've done, you know, there's a good spread of condies, but looking at them, you might think, cripple, weakness, chill, vuln, it's not much. But if you actually look at the damaging ones here, it is 5 torment, 4 bleed, 3 confusion. It's enough. And I'm kind of BMing there, just standing there, jumping up and down like a dick. So there you go. And he walked off the node. I'm going to build Shroud with Staff. I should have been looking behind me earlier than that, to be honest. Mind you, I am swinging the camera because the Reaper could have been looking. So the Reaper kind of messed up there. It looks like a very easy game now, doesn't it? And I guess my team probably had the luxury of a very low Reaper kiting into them, so they were okay for this bell. But I think it will be a pretty interesting and good game going forwards. So I put a worm up near the bell. Because, so this is kind of terrible from all my guys. The bell is nearly flipping. I don't know if I noticed that in the game. But we're all kind of pushing off of it right now. We should be up there. Do we let blue get that for freezies there? I'm on the enemy Reaper. I've got a tether up to the bell point. Yeah, Are they going to cap it? I don't know. Sorry. All right. To watch this, though, the Mirage is on me. I'm probably going to dip out of Shroud and Worm as soon as possible. Here's another perfect example of Doomfire. Oh, I remember this game now. So here we're going to get a lot of value out of Doomfire. We're going to score a very easy kill that we otherwise wouldn't have. We also got a fear kill to put him in down earlier. And now we can worm up, right? So with that there, we win this fight, I think. But I'm going to come back. So the Hollow was on respawn. I guess I'd been thinking about the Hollow and I wanted to come and defend this. So now the Hollow's going to win his 1v1. And, oh man, I kind of hate that I'm showing you this video. I do think Doomfire is pretty good. But it's very rare to have had a circumstance like this. But here you're about to see a situation where the stun break and stab would have been better. Because the Hollow's going to wombo combo me here. Ready? So he baits the dodge with the Photon Blitz. And I don't dodge the 5. Then he goes into the 5, into the Primary Light, into an overcharged shot afterwards as well, I think. Mind you, the Mirage was fighting me as well. There you go. There's the last CC. And if I had a bit of stab from Shroud there, I would have been fine. And I remember this game, because I remember thinking to myself, I was still playing with Doomfire at this time. And I was thinking, all right, so I had one situation there where Doomfire was all right, followed immediately by a situation where I would have rather the other GM. And I was thinking to myself, you know, when you're playing off meta, you often think, I wish I could just take them both. You know, other builds get X, Y, and Z. I wish I could have them both, you know. Anyway, so I die there because of the GM pick. But honestly, it is rare to die to the CC chain. I often feel, I don't know, maybe it depends on how well you're dodging and what you're doing, really, I guess, and where you're pushing. I could be wrong, because CC is a big problem, to be honest. Anyway, so we come on respawn. So we just lose the map over that, by the way. Blue did get that bell. So, pretty heavy throw, to be honest. I'm not quite sure, by the way, where I died there. I did have an ally nearby, but he was choosing to stand on the node. So I come to Bell, and this guy's rotated to Bell as well. This is really ugly. I wish he'd helped his friend not die. But he's prioritized standing around AFK. So instead, I push up to try and help the guy. The Hollow dodges reasonably well. I have to double dodge here because he does the Photon Wave, and then he's in a Prime Light, so I have to dodge a second time. We dip out and Corrupt Boon. Whaler Doom, because while in stealth, he could come towards me. We see that the line is actually up there, but we cap Bell now already. So he's behind me at the moment. Retarget to the Firebrand. So you can pressure a Firebrand. So here, I see that the Hollow's pushing for the cross, and I remember that I have my worm up, so I teleport towards him to keep pressuring. We get here, perfect Shroud there again, right? I'm using the 4 here. It's not very good. This, again, I think this was shortly after the Doomfire swap, because I was still thinking about it. A couple of Doomfire autos would have been beautiful here. That would have been another offensive Condi. But look at that. He's not going to be able to get away from that. Here, he threw. I think he threw his elixir or something, maybe? Because he got super speed, and that's the stun break in it. Or was it stun break? I don't know. What changed about that? I can't remember. Oh, it's still a stun break, isn't it? They just changed the quickness for super speed. So there, I do try and dodge. You guys saw me moving. This is on EU as well. I did try and dodge his downstate too. But I got interrupted. I was a bit low with it, I guess. But if my character model is already moving from the dodge. So then the Firebrand gets the res because I missed the dodge, which is kind of bad. Then I think, well, the Hollow's going to go ham, which is probably the better play. He's got a lot of pressure. So I counter with the elite. You have to... It's a long cooldown, I know, but it's not a very good elite. One of the best ways to utilize this, and I probably should have been compiling bonus clips for you all. One of the best ways to utilize this is to preemptively cast it, knowing a core guard or someone's about to jump on you. I've actually scored a ton of kills just baiting people into me. You know, like, they may even know you have low shroud. You just precast it and you wait. And this gets more dangerous the longer you wait with it. This is another thing as well, where when you run, like, blind applies chill and chill applies vuln and stuff, this is another one that it scales on the elite very heavily, because once you get into those later forms where it's chill every pulse, it's now chill and X and Y and X and Y and again and again and again, you know. Anyway, so we're still corrupting. The 6 confusion there is from double corruption over retail. He's Elixir S. I assume my buddy's got that, though. I think that this is the correct play for me to rotate away. Maybe it's not. Maybe this is a poor rotation of mine right now. Again, it's hard for me to explain to you guys how poor this is in large engagements, really. So really, I'm just trying to rotate away from the Firebrand as much as possible. And when you have a Necro build that feels that way, I don't know. And it can be alright against Firebrand. It really can. But a good Firebrand can know just not to boon themselves too heavily, and then it's GG. So yeah. Now we drop a worm, and I'm going to kite back towards mid via their spawn to try and pull one of them away, separate them. But as I do so, I notice my team's peeling out and is scared. So I come for the assist on the road. It's Reaper Hollow. Both of them I'm good against. Get an excellent Shroud there as well. Look, I just go in and out. And that's double fear and all kinds of good stuff. They both got feared away from me there. It's an Elixir Stomp. Nothing I can do about that. I don't feel salty about this anymore, though. I don't feel bad because I know he's used that there. He can't use that defensively anymore. That was a big cooldown. I have to worm out there because, you know, I've got a lot of pressure. Here I'm looking. I can't quite see what it is, so I walk back towards the cliff. Now, there's a chance that this ally here took some of their aggro. And maybe I could get one of them. Turns out they're just ignoring this guy and both bombing me, and I've walked forward a bit, so now I'm in major danger. Spectral walk, and we walk away immediately. I about face. Oh, I guess I see. It depends how much in my mind I'm sort of wondering if they're bad. So this is quite nice. Here, the play is to run away, but then I about face the camera, and what I'm doing here is seeing if one of them goes for the node, which is a terrible play. Don't go for the node. Try and kill me. But if one of them goes for the nodes, I can stay and fight. And I guess I've just realized that this guy is going for the node. Yeah, look at that. So instead, I stop moving, I shroud, and we go for the kill here. We fear that guy in the middle of his prime light. Emob in fear as well is so nice as well. He launches Photon Wall. Corrupt Boon is unblockable, so that's an easy pick, and he's just dead, right? Look at it. It's beautiful. And that was significant burning that we were doing at the end there with the Doomfire. Even watching the footage makes me want to play this build again. I've turned my back on the build now, though, because it's just too much salty angst and prickishness in the community. Like, you can only imagine what people think when they see a Cornetto. And I'm in the same situation. So this Reaper just stood and watched the whole thing. This was a really nice little sequence here. Into Shroud with the fear again. Perfect timing. Waiting for him to stab himself, but we had an extra charge of this to burn anyway. So he's Bloods, and he's running the protection GM. We dodged the elite, and here's the funny thing. Because I dodged the elite, he actually doesn't get any stab, which I'm almost upset about, but I wouldn't have had a stun break anyway, since we had to worm earlier. So now he goes Shroud. Now we corrupt with the skill 3 on Scepter, and again, a Mirage is coming in, so this is getting a bit scary. Hold Shroud just a second, take a couple of autos, fear as soon as the Emob lands, so he's completely locked in. He Plague Signets and insta-casts it, and I dodge. Oh no, he gets it on me, never mind. I was dodging right around then. There's no way I could have anticipated that. I'm only seeing that in the post-commentary. He's standing still because of the Torment, but he'll get pressured out anyway. Here I'm kiting around because of the Mirage. Holding Shroud mostly because the Mirage is nearby, not actually for Doomfire pressure. I'd rather leave and get ready for later. My team comes gunning in, guns blazing. I swear, is this game going to be over in a second? I thought this was a real back and forth. Well, I suppose I've done more than enough commentary on this anyway. Maybe I'll do another one. I do have a lot of different games of footage. And yeah, that should be the end of the game here. I actually think I type kind of dickishly to this Reaper now. Yeah, I do. Basically, because he'd walked away from the Hollow, and now the guy seemed AFK. I actually see on the post commentary, I think he was standing still because of the torment. But he looked like he was AFK, and the reason he was AFK, I'm guessing, is because he was typing in chat in the moment. And the reason he would have been typing in chat would have been because his Hollow would have been freaking out at him. And why would his Hollow have been freaking out at him? Because he'd left him to die versus me earlier. Which is why I typed in chat, is the Hollow raging? Because he probably should be. And that's not me trying to be malicious, necessarily, and obviously that's quite uncalled for, because he didn't say anything. It's really not meant to be malicious. It's, hoping that he'll understand that maybe if he's getting criticism from his team right now, it is warranted. Anyway, a bit dickish, a bit ugly. So yeah, maybe I'll do another one of these games. By the way, my experience on this set was I did play about 100 games of Cornetto, maybe a little bit more, maybe up to 130 or so. And what I'll say is, shortly after placements, I was about here in Plat 3, all on Cornetto. And then I queued right through all the suicide hours, just, you know, all the worst hours to be playing. And this was about as low as I dropped. Then I climbed maybe about above Plateau a bit, and it got really toxic, and I decided to play Core Guard, which was infinitely easier and feels like playing a completely different game. So yeah, all right, I'll do another one. That was kind of fun. I'll see you guys for another Cornetto very soon.